Hello, and thank you so much for purchasing this Tarot for Self Love course. I am Jess, and I am your guide for this course. This is going to tell you and teach you a lot about how you are as with your psychic abilities, with your energy abilities, with your intuition, and how you can use that to divine through tarot and increase or enhance your self-love practice. So that's what we're going to talk about. So class 1, oh my goodness. There we go. Class 1 is going to be energy basics. And what we're going to do in this class is talk about kind of the ethics of energy, how I practice as an example. You don't have to follow my practices. They're just there as a guideline. So what is energy? So if you know anything about spirituality, healing, even pagan practices, and Eastern religions, you have heard of energy work, Reiki, those kinds of things. So energy is the eternal source of potential. This is where we pull from when, somebody says, dig deep, pull it out, you can do it. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So it's always existing around us, and it's like a continuum. So if you're pulling from one side, you are reducing the other. If you're pulling back, you're reducing the other side. So all matter carries energy. So you can pull from and channel through anything that's tangible. So this is you can channel through yourself, your cards, journaling, your energy work, your healing work, even as simple as channeling an energy of protection around you when you go to a new place or a crowded store or something like that. So there are some ethics so we can use energy properly and respectfully. And these are really simple, really, really simple. Always ask permission, consent, consent, consent. You are asking for help from source energy when you are divining. So you need to open that relationship, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but you have to ask permission. So this goes for any energy work that you do. Whether it's hands-on healing, remote healing, divination, any kind of clair abilities, you have to ask permission to be able to interpret the energy in the sense that it was meant for. Also here, you have to set boundaries. You have to allow the spirits and the energy around you to work for you and not against you. So for example, when I first started getting developing some of my clairaudience and claircognizance, I set boundaries around when spirits could contact me. So in the 2 hours that my kids go to bed and I'm by myself and then I can go to bed, in that 2 to 3 hours, that's my window. That's my window for tarot readings. That's my window for personal journaling, meditation, and that's the window for spirit to come through. And then after that, it's closed off. Things can come here and there, but even if I don't open the channel, it's not going to come through clearly. So, and that's the second thing here. Be the channel, not the source. So what I mean by that is source needs to come through you. This goes with working with a servant's heart, and it goes a lot deeper into healing work and coaching and empowerment work, but this is specifically for you. Be the channel, not the source. You need to imagine yourself opening up your crown chakra, which is the top of your head, and allowing source to enter through you and out of whatever modality you're using. So if you're reading tarot or you're writing, the energy is going to come through your hands. If you are, and healing is the same way, the energy is going to come through your hands. If you're speaking, the energy is going to come through your mouth. Like right now I am channeling this presentation and I am open to the universe. My crown chakra is open and I'm allowing things to flow down and through my throat chakra and out of my mouth. And I know that what I am saying is not completely me. Some of it is me and my experience, but a lot of this is channeling. And then at the end, anytime you work with energy, it is very, very important to ground. And this can be in multiple ways. It can be sleeping. It can be eating or drinking. It can be getting outside into nature, sticking your toes in the dirt or the water, taking a shower, whatever that looks like for you, whatever is a good, calming, soothing experience for you. Sometimes it's just cuddling up in a warm blanket and watching some stand-up comedy. Like it's really whatever you want it to be, whatever works for you. But this is kind of the process. Ask permission, get consent, remain open, know that it's not you, not your ego, and then ground when you're done. And that kind of closes the channel. So energy hygiene. So just like you would take a shower every day, you brush your teeth, wash your hair, what have you, there are things that you can do to make sure that the energy that you are carrying is your own and nobody else's. And the way to do that is through a couple ways. You can hydrate and rest. This is very important. Listen to your body when it tells you that you need something. This is your body saying, hey, we're a little dry over here. Can you give us some water? Or, hey, we're a little tired. Let's take a little cat nap, or let's maybe work our day so that we can rest. And then the second thing that you can do is body scan. And if you're not familiar with this process, what it is basically getting into a calm, not even meditative, just a calm state, and bringing your attention with every breath. You're going to bring your attention to a different part of the body. So typically you would start with your toes. So you would take a deep breath and focus on the energy that is located in your toes, and then your feet and your ankles and your calves and your knees, all the way up to the top of your head. And what this does is it gives you a picture in whatever clair gift you have. It gives you a picture of how your body is feeling in that moment and what parts of it need a little extra love, or need to be grounded down, or need to be cleaned out energetically. And then you can work on that. You can work on moving that energy through in different ways. And hydration is a huge way to do that. It's a very easy, second nature way to cleanse your body and keep your energy where you need it. The other way to do this is to balance work and play. You should be infusing play into as much of your day as possible. And this isn't just like playing with your kids or going out with friends or something. It is that. But it's also having fun with what you do, making jokes, being curious about different topics. Like for me, it's research. I love to go deep dive down rabbit holes and read and learn new things. That's my play. And also playing with my kids and being outside in nature. And then that way I have the energy to come in and do the work and do the structured side of it, like this, like recording and building programs. And all of that is to make sure that the energy that you're holding onto is your own and does not need to be released. If it's somebody else's that you've picked up along the way, or if there's a problem or a trauma response that your body wants to let go of, this is the way to help it let go and you stay balanced. So for managing outside energy, this is very important to anyone who is sensitive, anyone who has clear abilities, anyone who is an empath, anyone who works as a healer, because you are sometimes inadvertently connecting with energies that are not for your highest good, right? So you need to clean them out. So you're always going to want to take inventory after interactions. And this doesn't mean necessarily like, how am I feeling after I paid for that transaction at the grocery store. This is more of, I just left the grocery store. Let me take a few breaths as I'm in the car and evaluate how I'm feeling and how I can love on myself. For me, the grocery store is a very anxiety inducing place. And I usually need some time to myself afterwards to adjust and come back to center, because it is so triggering for me. So this is how you take inventory. You're also going to want to shield as much as possible, and that shield can look like whatever you want. A lot of people will picture a glowing light around them, or a bubble, or even like an impenetrable iron wall. But what I like to use is the spaghetti strainer method. This is a method that was taught to me by one of my very first mentors, and it's stuck with me for more than a decade. And think about a spaghetti strainer. It's solid, but it also has holes. And these holes let out the things that you no longer need. So water from the pasta, right? And it leaves all the pasta. So if you can think about yourself and your shield as a spaghetti strainer, you will have an easier time holding on to the energy that you're supposed to be, the energy that's meant for you, and releasing the energy that's not meant for you. You can also think about this in the shower, because you are washing the energy off of you, literally and figuratively, and it's going down the drain. It's going back into the earth. And the earth can transmute energy, any kind of energy, into good, helpful growth energy. That's just what she does. So when you shield and ground, you're going to imagine everything falling away from you that no longer serves you, and it getting absorbed into the earth so that it can be transmuted from pain and heartbreak and loss and grief and into love and growth and empowerment. So that's pretty much how, like, the key points of managing outside energy: taking inventory, shielding as needed, grounding as needed, and then make sure you're cleansing regularly. So this can be smoke cleanse. It can be a shower. It can be whatever kind of cleanse that you feel is necessary. So when it comes to actually reading tarot, this is kind of the overview of how a tarot reading should go, whether you're reading for yourself or reading for others. So the first thing you're going to do is center the energy. You're going to take some deep breaths as you open up the deck. You're going to focus on being in the moment and connecting with source. This is where you're going to start. You're going to see that gap close between you and source energy. You're going to see that telephone line get shorter. Think about, like, the old telephone lines with the, that we used to play with as kids, with like the cans on the end and the string. Think about source having one and you having one. And when you're not connected, when you're not centered, when you're not opening the channel, that telephone line is very, very long. It takes a long time to get messages, and they're usually muddled and confusing. But when you're centering the energy to dive into some kind of divination or meditation act, you are shortening the gap between you and source energy. So that telephone wire is very short, and it's pretty much like you don't even need it anymore. You can put it down and source is sitting next to you, whispering in your ear, and you are translating. So there's very little risk of messages getting lost in translation when you're closing that gap. So that's centering the energy. You're also going to ask permission. We talked about this earlier with energy in general, and this is specifically for tarot reading. So as you are centering and getting closer to spirit, getting closer to the channel, you're going to take the cards out, and you are going to find a way to ask permission that feels good to you. I usually start shuffling, and then if the cards are having if I'm having a hard time shuffling and the deck's not working with me, then I know it's not the right time for a reading, or that's not the right deck for the reading. Sometimes you have to switch up, and we'll talk about that as we go through. So if it's not working, it's not working. If it is working, it'll be easy. It will come easy. You won't have to force it. And then you're going to open and close every time. So basically, like you're going to open this channel, you're going to open this portal. You have to close it off. You have to put a block in that energy once the reading's done. So the way you do that, or the way I do it, is as I'm shuffling, that's me opening up the cards. That's what I imagine, like, kind of like the flower blooming and opening up to the universe. It's almost like one of those flowers that open in the moon and close in the sun. That's kind of what this feels like. So you're going to open and close every time. You're going to open, do the reading, and then as you're shuffling before you put the deck away, that's how you're imagining that moonflower closing, that channel closing, the distance in the cord, the telephone wire getting longer, that type of energy. So your homework in between lesson 1 and lesson 2 is going to be working on centering your energy. So you're going to practice the body scanning and practice shielding, practice grounding. There is so much on YouTube that can help with grounding. There's short meditations, there's body scanning meditations. Use your resources. I am not the type of teacher that wants to recreate the wheel. I am the type of teacher that wants you to learn how to use your resources. So you'll hear me reference YouTube, Pinterest, all of these things that are easily found and open. If you found this website and you purchased this program, you have the ability to use the resources that I'm giving you. So that is your homework. And then at the end of these, when I was building them, I really felt like I needed to end with some kind of quote, not some cheesy inspirational quote, but something that just resonated with me and this chapter, this class, and hopefully with you too. So the one I picked for this was, "You have chaos in your soul and lightning in your veins. You, my dear, were made for wild, magical things." And that's a quote from Aaron Matlock. And for me, what this triggers deep in my soul is that primal urge to really let myself be seen, let myself access all of the stardust, right? Because we are made of stardust, and access all of that. So I want that for you too. And that's kind of my goal through this course, is to help you find tools to understand yourself better. Because when you understand yourself better, you see where you come from, you see patterns, you see wounding that you didn't even know was there sometimes. It wakes you up, it shakes you up, and it helps you become the most favorite version of yourself. I don't want to say the best version of yourself, because your best changes every day. You are always the best version of yourself that you can be in that moment. But there is room for growth. There's always room for growth. It's progress over perfection. So if you're feeling like this is a lot, that's okay. You can watch it back. That's why I did this as an on-demand course. This is yours for a lifetime. You can do with it what you would like. You can, watch it a million times. You could put it down after one try and say, it's not for me, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, if you signed up for this, if you have listened to this whole class from the get-go, this is something that you need in your life. This is something that's going to stir up the chaos and lightning and remind you that you are a powerful being and can complete and receive and accomplish anything that you put your mind to. So that is the end of class 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. Feel free to drop me a message through the website if you have any questions or comments or need help with anything. And don't forget to practice your homework I would say at least 2 or 3 days of that before you jump into class number 2. All right, we will see you soon. Thank you so, so, so much.